Today we are going to be discussing the devastating effects of the melting of glaciers on the economy and environment of North America. To start, how do glaciers form? In simple terms, glaciers form from the compaction of snow in the Arctic region over time until there's enough accumulated snow to form a glacier.
Glaciers don't form overnight. It takes thousands of years to form even the smallest glacier. These glaciers are a lot more present than you think. They cover around 10% of the Earth's surface. Another thing you may be wondering, what causes them to melt?
It causes global warming, which also causes many other environmental issues. So to start, here are the effects of melting glaciers on the environment. The first effect that we are going to discuss is the rising sea levels. Sea level rise is one of the key problems caused by the melting of glaciers. Since 1961, there has been a 2.7 centimeter rise in sea levels due to melting glaciers. The world's glaciers hold roughly 170,000 cubic kilometers of ice, which is in the worst case scenario, could raise sea levels by over half a meter. This affects coastal cities drastically all around the world, such as San Francisco. The rising of sea levels is additionally causing the erosion of shorelines and heightened susceptibility to storm surges.
Glacial areas house unique species adapted to cold environments. Glacier retreat causes habitat loss and challenges to the survival of these species, causing biodiversity decline. For example, wildlife like walrus are losing their home and polar bears are spending more time on land. This is changing the habitat for these endangered animals, causing their lives to become more and more difficult, increasing their chance of extinction.
Another issue sector is the altered weather patterns. Temperature and precipitation are two aspects of local weather patterns greatly influenced by glacier melt. Additionally, ocean currents are being slowed by the thawing of glaciers, which is linked to changes in the global climate and causes an increase in the frequency of extreme weather events like typhoons and hurricanes, greatly affecting areas in North America. Another impact on the climate is when solar radiation hits snow and ice, approximately 90% of it is reflected back out into space because of the brightness of the snow, which makes it reflective. This helps keep our pole's current climate constant, but when glaciers melt, darker surfaces are exposed, which absorb heat, which raises temperatures and contributes heavily to global warming.
A very interesting statistic, according to new research, suggests that ice loss in the southern coast mountains of British Columbia is happening at nearly 5 times the rate it was in the early 2000s. Overall, glaciers in western North America, not including Alaska, have lost about 117 billion tons of ice since 2000. They are currently losing about 12 billion tons a year.
Freshwater released by melting glaciers alters the chemistry of the ocean and promotes ocean acidification. Marine life is at risk from this, particularly species whose skeletons and shells are made of calcium carbonate. Many species can no longer find a healthy home in this acidified water. Now we will be talking about the effects of the melting of glaciers on the economy of North America. To start, melting Arctic ice is known as an economic time bomb according to researchers. Researchers put the total cost at $60 trillion over the next 10 years, almost equal to the entire world economy in 2012. A major impact to the economy is the damage of infrastructure of cities. There is still some uncertainty about the full volume of glaciers and ice caps on the Earth, but if all of them were to melt, global sea levels would rise approximately 70 meters, flooding every coastal city on the planet. Coastal communities would require to face billion-dollar disaster recovery bills as flooding becomes more and more frequent and storms become more intense due to the melting of glaciers. Bevis, a geophysicist, said, "The effects will be bigger in the U.S. coastal areas where approximately 25 million people live. These are places such as New York and Miami. Rising sea levels in these places will cause hurricanes to reach further inland, causing more damage in roads and bridges and utilities."
The cost of rebuilding and repairing the infrastructure is a significant economic burden.
Sea level rise also greatly impacts coastal and ocean activities, such as marine transportation of goods, offshore energy drilling, resource extraction, fish cultivation, recreation, and tourism. These are all integral aspects to the nation's economy, generating 58% of the national gross domestic product of the United States of America. And the melting of glaciers could put all of these industries to ruin. Another issue greatly impacting the economy is the loss in freshwater. Studies show that only 2% of the water available is freshwater, and over 70% of that consists of glaciers and snow. These glaciers are the main source of freshwater for many. However, with the increase in population and reducing the mass of glaciers, there will be a serious scarcity of fresh water in the coming years, which will impact all sectors, especially the economy. Glaciers supply water that support humans' communities with things such as drinking water, agriculture, and hydroelectricity.
Lastly, the melting of glaciers takes away the possibility of glacier tourism, causing a decline in the economy of many northern areas in North America. Rapid glacial retreat or even disappearance will bring a loss of tourism revenues. The melting of glaciers causes a decline in aesthetics or attractiveness. This not only affects the appreciation of glaciers, but also increases the difficulty in entering and experiencing glaciers.
As you can see in this graph, the more tourists there are, the more the revenue, which is why glacial tourism is so important. An example of this is, according to a northern community, tourism to glaciers is a beneficial and sustainable component of our community and local economy, supporting more than 5,000 jobs and $548 million in revenue to communities within 60 miles of the park. This is from a northern community with a big aspect of their economy being glacier tourism.
To finish this off, we have to understand that the earth is precious and we don't have time to spare.
The time to act is now.